Hi, I'm Deborah Hoprin. Today we're going to talk about the use of one of the best medicinal but also culinary mushrooms available to us, and this one I purchased in a local supermarket today. This is Maitake mushroom. Maitake mushrooms grow on trees, typically hardwoods, maple, oaks, a variety of hardwood trees, as do oyster mushrooms, and I wanted to show both so that you could see them both. This is oyster mushrooms. They look similar to some extent, but they are two different types of mushrooms. They have two different Latin names. The Maitake mushroom is Grifola frondosa. The oyster mushroom, which also grows on hardwoods, also grows in New England, is Pleurotus austriatus. Both of them are delicious, but we're going to talk about Maitake. Maitake has particularly significant compounds in it that are not just nutritious but good for healing, and we're going to today though make food from them, and we're going to make a recipe that is a basic stir fry with Maitake. It'll include peppers, onions, garlic, zucchini, and some scallions. We're going to cook it up in a little bit of coconut oil. However, Maitake recipes are all over the internet. A lot of times you see recipes about roasting the entire collection of mushroom with a variety of wonderful things in the oven. Today I'm going to chop this up, but this whole piece can be roasted in the oven and eaten almost like a steak. We're also going to add to the pan today, to season this, some thyme and a little teeny bit of rosemary and a teeny little bit of sage. We'll also add salt and pepper. So see you later after prep. Alright, we're all chopped and prepped and ready to make our stir fry with our Maitake mushrooms. Here's our mushrooms all chopped up nice. You could basically chop these any way you want. They could be little teeny pieces or big pieces. It really doesn't matter. That's kind of up to you. Today we're going to start by sauteing onions. I used red pepper for color and flavor, some scallions, the garlic, which we're going to add later, and the zucchini we're going to add at the end also later. And we're going to saute this today in coconut oil. You could use olive oil, butter, healthy oils, of course, is what we're looking for, but I like coconut oil because it tolerates a slightly higher heat, although with sauteing you want a low heat for cooking everything, and then ultimately you put everything on simmer to finish. So I'm going to just saute the onions and the peppers and the scallions just for a couple minutes to get them soft. Then I will add the Maitake mushrooms, and I will let that saute for maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm probably going to add just a little bit of water and or possibly some chicken broth just to give it a little bit of moisture. So in addition to the mushrooms and the vegetables that we're going to saute, towards the end I'm also going to add chopped thyme, a little bit of chopped rosemary, and a little bit of chopped sage. And then in the last minute or two, I'm going to add garlic. Some people really like garlic in small amounts. I like a little bit more garlic, so this is 2 whole cloves of garlic chopped using my handy dandy little chopper that I just found recently. Works really well. I chop it up now though because the medicinal components of garlic really come out better when the garlic's been allowed to sit and oxidize a little bit on the counter. I also don't put it in at the end because you lose some of the medicinal value when you cook garlic at any type of high heat for any length of time. So that's going to go at the end. So this entire little stir fry will be a highly nutritious and highly medicinal type of meal. So I'm going to go over to the stove and start cooking. Here is the beginning of our meal for today. In here now are the onions, scallions, and the Maitake mushrooms, and they're going to simmer, really cook on low, not simmer, for at least 10 minutes. Maitake mushrooms can be cooked for much longer. They're often good in soups and soup stocks. You get even more of the medicinal properties out of the mushrooms the longer they're cooked. But right now, for lunch purposes, this is what's going to happen. I'm just going to cover this up while it's cooking. So there'll be a combination of some stir-frying or sautéing and some steaming going on here. Alright, it's been a couple minutes now, and I'm going to go ahead and add my chopped rosemary, thyme, and sage. Just a little bit of each herb. I'm going to add about a half teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper. And I'm going to add my zucchini. And I'm going to cook that just for 1 or 2 more minutes until the zucchini is a little more tender. And then for the final minute or 2, I'm going to add my garlic. So I've just added salt, pepper, my herbs, parsley, my rosemary, sage, and thyme, small amount of each herb, and they were fresh. I've just added about a half teaspoon of salt, a quarter teaspoon of pepper to this mixture and the zucchini. I'm going to cover it up and let the zucchini simmer for just a little bit to soften that up, maybe a couple minutes, and then for the final 2 minutes I'll add the garlic, and then we'll be done. And here, let's see, here we have it, our finished dish. Now, I don't think I mentioned it, but I did add just a little bit of cooking wine to this and a little teeny bit of chicken broth just to add some moisture to it. This could cook longer. It doesn't have to. We're going to serve it up a little bit fresh so we get the benefit of the garlic. Garlic, by the way, added early on is good for flavoring. It's just I want some of the nutritional value, particularly some of the medicinal values of the garlic, so I'm not cooking it quite as long. So obviously it'll have a large garlicky flavor to it. That isn't everybody's cup of tea. You can use less garlic. You can cook it longer.